How you doing, bud?
No bad.
What's your name, man?
Sandy.
Sandy, I'm Dale. Sandy.
How you doing, Dale?
Well, just some quick questions, Sandy. Can I ask you, do you trust the government?
No, the current one.
Aye.
The British one.
Yeah. Would you trust any governments?
I trust the Scottish government more than I trust the British or American ones. I trust the Canadian government more than I trust. But you know what I mean?
Aye. So, how do you discern? I mean, is there anything? Is there things that you do trust that come from the government?
From which government?
From say the British government.
The British government. No, because there's been far too many changes in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
I can't see. Well, see when Labour get in '96 and they started a Northern Ireland peace process, they gave Scotland a devolution referendum, and they arrested General Pinochet, and you just thought, good, everything's looking good.
Yeah.
Because, you know, things, and then they screwed it up by getting a business model for government, and then kind of laid the ground for the Tories to then come along and exploit what had been.
Yeah.
It's just getting worse and worse. I don't really.
So you know, in government there's a propensity for them to be telling lies and manipulate things. What about the American government?
What about them?
Trust them?
The current one? No. No, absolutely not. No, and it's a different thing. This government, I don't trust their motivation, and the American government, I don't trust their competence.
Yeah.
It's quite terrifying. It's quite terrifying, really.
I know. Can I ask you? Would you say you were a religious guy, or are you more kind of scientific minded?
I'm more philosophical minded.
Right.
I'm more kind of in between. I find religion has questions that are already answered. Science is
an ongoing investigation.
Is always asking questions, get an answer, ask another question, get an answer.
Well, that's a great
philosophy. You can never answer any of the questions, and so what you find out along the way, while you're looking for an answer that you're not going to get, I find really, really valuable.
Yeah. So for me, this is the whole crux of what I'm up to. You know, I love science, and I'm into direct realism. For me, the core of science should always be based on empirical facts. So,
well, that's me as well, because that's what science does. Because I think that's what science is. It's an agreement. We agree what reality is. That doesn't mean it's reality.
Yeah.
That's just what we as human beings, because we human beings invented the concept of science. Yeah. Science is just an apparatus for understanding things. Yeah. The same as religion and the same as philosophy are all apparatuses for understanding things. So science is an apparatus for understanding things, and we agree what reality is, and it's probably the best one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the best one to choose, it's the best one to defer to.
Aye, because if I say to you, you know, there is an objective truth, there is an objective reality, would you agree with that?
An objective reality? Well, no, as a philosopher, no.
Well, if I was to drop that table on your head, it would crush your skull.
It would hurt.
Right.
Yeah,
so that's objectively true.
But that's my perception of what pain is. I don't know what other benefits there are to that pain.
Yeah.
Because science continually discovers new things. See, all the science for 1,000 years ago, forget it. So what's going to happen 1,000 years from now? Maybe dropping this table on my head will hurt, but it will also give me a bigger cock. You know, who knows what we'll discover.
Is that wishful thinking?
And things like, and you can't argue, and that's why you can't argue, you know, when scientists say to religious people, where's your proof and all that? Well, faith doesn't need proof. Faith doesn't require proof.
Yeah.
You can't argue. Faith, I find it fascinating that people of faith and people of science argue with each other using, it's like you throwing a tennis ball at my cricket bat, you know, you're having completely different arguments. Science, and I don't understand creationism, because you've already got your faith, so you don't need proof. You know, and with science it's like, well, you don't need faith, but actually you do. Because I just need to believe what Isaac Newton says. Yeah. Because I'm not a student of physics. I just have to defer to someone.
Exactly, and that's exactly my point. So when it comes to these types of things like Isaac Newton and these types of thought processes, a lot of the stuff would depend on we take on hearsay. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So just as you were saying there, and you know, for me, I base things on direct realism, what I can directly experience for myself. So here's the thing that I'm going to get at a point. If I was to say to you that there's a serious doubt in regards to the Earth being a ball flying about the vacuum of space, what would you think of that?
I would think it's far too late for that argument.
You would think it was far too late
for that argument, because there has been so many investigations for hundreds and hundreds of years, I would defer to.
Well, what if I say to you, there's a huge movement happening now of people waking up all over the world from all walks of life, from academia to the common man, who are really doubting what they've gave us. I mean, are you aware that there is no actual real video or actual photographs from space?
Is that a fact?
Well, you know, I've searched long and hard. If you go to Google Images right now, you will find maybe 2 images that they claim are real images of the ball from space.
So it's just claimed that they're
that's
real.
it. You know, it's a private institution.
Well, as a student of philosophy, I would say everything's you can doubt anything, you can doubt everything. I can doubt that you're sitting there.
Yeah.
I can doubt everything. So what you have to do is show deference. And as far as I'm concerned, the Earth is a ball. Because I defer to the things that I've learned so far.
So you would say it was based on hearsay? You've never actually experienced the Earth as a ball with your own eyes?
No, because I can't. It's impossible to do that.
Yeah.
Even if you're taking a photograph of space, you would. I suppose they've got cameras that you can zoom right around now. But no, when it comes to science, I defer to people who I think know what they're talking about within science.
Do you think that's dangerous, though?
No.
No, do you not think it's better to base things on your direct experience?
I think it's no, because if I drew the number 6 right here, you would see a number 9. Yeah. Now I know it's a 6 because my intention was to draw a 6, but you would look and you would see a 9, and until I explain to you that that's a 6, you're going to go, well, I see a 9, mate. But I drew it with the intention of drawing a 6.
Yeah.
Your direct experience is a 9, so you wouldn't believe that was a 6, even though I'm telling you that's what I drew. So that's why your own direct experience can often let you down.
Yeah, until you analyse and you come to understanding and have
until
that discussion.
You look at it from my perspective,
exactly.
Then you can go, oh, right, well, the guy told me he intended to draw a 6.
Yeah.
So it is a 6, even though you're looking at it from a 9 position.
So if I was to say to you, what shape's the horizon?
I couldn't tell you that. I'm not studied enough.
But when you look at...
I would have to guess.
When you look at the horizon, what do you see?
So what you're saying, what is my perspective from where I'm standing?
Yeah.
My perspective from where I'm standing, the horizon. Right, I assume you're talking across a seascape.
Yeah.
Right, well, you would say it's flat.
Okay.
Right.
So if I was to
From my perspective.
So if I was to then say to you, if I went to natural physics and fluid mechanics, and I was to say to you that for me, you know, if I established that my most accurate measuring tool and the most accurate measuring tool known to man for establishing a level is water, would you agree with that?
I don't know. I don't know if I could agree with that or no. I would I would have to defer to somebody because I've not studied.
Have you ever seen convex bodies of water?
No.
If I says to you that water is formless, water can take the shape of its container and the surface will always be horizontal, would you say that's your everyday experience of water on Earth?
I wouldn't say it's my everyday experience of water on Earth. I would just say it's what I guess.
Yeah.
From what I can see and the boats I've been on and experiments I did in school 20 odd years ago.
You get up in the morning, you make a cup of tea, you have a
right, I
wash,
see
you
what
have
you
a
mean.
bath.
Any water, not just bodies of water like
Just
the loch.
Any water. Well, you can get surface tension.
You don't get water
or mounded
like
up. Water's not got the ability to support itself to display shapes upon its surface. So if we go into any body of water and we submerge a shape under that body of water, you will never see a silhouette of that on the top of the water because it's formless. It can't take the shape of the underside.
Yeah, the stuff that's containing it's got a form though.
Of course it has. So that's
so as gravity pulls the water down, it's within the shape and it'll always sit because it's liquid.
Well, you know, gravity is another one of these things that are theories that have never been defined or proven. You know,
that's I've actually said that to my pals once when I was a teenager and in my 20s. I used to argue with a lot of religious people who told me I had a good Christian attitude. Because I like Christian philosophy and I like Jesus, what has been written about Jesus Christ. I just don't believe in divinity.
Right.
The divinity doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm not having it. But the intention of Christianity, the intention that doesn't actually get played out these days. Well,
I've heard that said before. It's a good idea. When are they going to put it into practice?
So I actually like that, and I would argue. And then 20 years after that, you know, and most recently, I've had exactly the same arguments with people who are almost like fashionable atheists, and empirical scientific type people.
Well, so they think.
Not so much New Age. More people that the people who subscribe to the I fucking love science page. You know, as if like, well, what's not science? You know.
Well, that's you know.
So I had the same arguments with them because I saw the same obstinacy and I saw the same kind of.
Same with me.
So and my philosophical position was really understood.
Yeah, well, you seem very similar to me, and I experienced that myself through like speaking to creationists, evolutionists, these types of people. You know, I call them New Age atheists. There's certainly new waves of them in the last.
Evangelitheists, I was calling them.
Aye, that's a good term for it. But they don't even recognise there's a separation between natural science and formal science. Formal science, you know, mathematics is a formal science. It's a language.
It's
a language that's
an apparatus that we created
to explain ideas. And, you know, show, you know, direct reality, actual substance. Now when we get into the realms of big bangs and abiogenesis, life from you know, non-living matter, all these things can never be recreated or shown. So for me, it's no scientific, because if you make a claim to me about reality, you should be able to recreate it, you should be able to show it. Would you agree with that?
If you make a claim about reality, you should be able to back it up.
Aye.
Well, I agree with that in the sense that you should back up any claim you make.
Exactly.
Particularly in science. I mean, if you say, oh, there's God, obviously you can't back that up. But then again, you don't need to, because it's faith. And faith doesn't require backup. It's like, well, I have faith. So if it is in the scientific realm, then you should back it up. But the thing is, there's a difference between somebody making a claim about someone and someone positing a theory about something.
A hypothesis or a theory.
But so positing a theory isn't making a claim of reality.
But you would still need to pursue that in order to falsify or verify. So going back to my water thing, you know, for me, I don't need to have faith that I know that liquid has a definite physical properties to it. It behaves and it obeys certain physical laws. We have used it to construct for thousands of years. We depend on it every single day. So if I was to say to you, you know, understanding that one fundamental fact of reality, for me that totally debunks the claim that we live on a spinning ball flying about the vacuum of space.
I don't think it does completely debunk it.
Well,
I don't really think it does.
If I was to say to you then, could you give me one practical example of a body of water displaying convexity? Do you think you could show me that?
I can't give you that. Because I'm an artist who works part-time in a cafe. And so
But on your, basing things on your everyday experience of reality, that's what I'm more interested in.
Oh right, I see. Well, my everyday experience of reality will differ from somebody else's reality window. I mean, we can look at 3 different maps: a weather map, a physical map and a political map, and we're looking at exactly the same thing. But it's completely different.
Well, you've got your subjective take on these things, which is true.
And you can't. It's difficult to separate that from your objective take, because everything means something different to you. You know, and what people say is that a lot of people say, you know, opinion doesn't matter. You know, don't bring opinion to a fact fight. But opinion, it can be translated as everyday experience. You know, and the study of water is something that I haven't looked into. So some of your questions I can't answer. So I can only say based on my own experience. I can't tell you what I haven't seen. I can tell you what I've seen, but I can't tell you what I haven't seen. I haven't seen green elephants either.
Well, neither have I, and if somebody claims to me that green elephants are true, I need to see the green elephant before I believe it. So based on, you know, going back to you saying, you know, you're philosophical, for me I was the same. But there would be a huge difference if I'm trying to reason or philosophise from a point of view of assuming or believing that I live on a globe flying through the vacuum of space that was created by a big bang or a big expansion. You know, my philosophy is then, you know, based on that assumption, right? Because I'm trying to reason from that assumption. If that's no true, your philosophy would change, would it not? If I was to say to you, the Earth is stationary, the Earth is level, and it is a created environment, would your philosophy then, in your mind, then start to think differently?
Well, because it would. Well, what it would say is, you would put that to me. That's a thought experiment, and you would put that to me, and I would say, well, okay, well, what would be the consequences of that? How would it work?
Yeah.
What does that mean for a 1,000-year global conspiracy to make us believe this certain thing?
So they say 1,000
you know,
years. Well,
so what? I mean, 1,000 years of since Copernicus started to measure the planets and stuff like that. So is that? Then I would have to take on the fact that there's been thousands of years, generation upon generation, from people that are long dead to make us believe this.
Yeah.
If
it's been going on for thousands of years, but again, we come to conjecture and hearsay because we're taking things from written books.
That maybe Man in the High Castle type stuff, like it's only been the past 30 years that someone has created all this history.
Or
like 1984,
last 100 years,
hole.
Since NASA was created, since that time.
Well, I couldn't realistically argue with that because I was born in 1970.
Yeah.
So I'd have to believe that my grandfather lied to me.
Well, I wouldn't say. See, this is the thing.
Or he was taken in, or she was.
I didn't lie to my kids. See, this is the thing that people think. Everybody would have to be lying. What if people are just misled? If you're born into,
Well, I have been misled in that. I thought that my great grandfather was called Carson Nielsen from Christensand. My brother did the family tree, and it turns out we're all through Ireland and back up to Norway, 700-800 years ago.
Yeah.
So somebody in my family made up a story about this beautiful story about Carson Nielsen coming from Christensand and meeting an Irish girl in Glasgow, changing his name to Charles Nelson because of the First World War and to sound more British, and it was all bullshit.
Yeah.
So there was a complete family story that we all believed. So there is stuff that you could all believe.
Yeah, and if you're getting born into say this culture, you go to the education, the universities, they tell you what to teach. You have to pass through their grades. So people, people are not willingly lying. You wouldn't say that. People can be misled.
Somebody has to be.
Yeah. Well, this is the point.
Are you talking about maybe it's been going on so long that it's wildfire and we just?
Well, it's never went away. This whole question of what the shape of the Earth is has never really gone away. It's always.
But but see, when it comes to that, and I'll conclude here if that's alright, because I need to get back in.
No problem.
But when they asked Empedocles whether or not God existed, when the ancient Greeks were all discussing whether or not God existed, it was not Empedocles. Epicurus.
Epicurus, yeah.
Said are far more important things to be concerned about than whether or not God exists.
Yeah.
So I find, from my philosophical position, from the way my life is formed, I have to say to you that I've got far more things to be concerned about than whether or not the Earth is flat or round.
Yeah.
So I think there's because see, in the end, it really wouldn't matter to me whether it was flat or round,
right.
Because we're all still doing the same thing, and I've still got the same struggles and same problems, same desires, same fears, and same responsibilities to my children, same responsibilities to my community. Mm-hmm. So whether or not the Earth is round or flat,
but in a psychological sense, if we don't have proper grounding, and we're basing our reasoning on a false premise.
I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you when I say it probably wouldn't make any difference to me if the news came out tomorrow that the world was flat, scientifically proven.
There's many people who think the same.
I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still going to believe, because I have to believe, I have to defer to science the same way as a person has to defer to a higher being.
So it's a belief system.
So I think that science is we have to agree. You can't actually prove anything.
Yeah, we have to base things on objective reality in order to agree.
We have to agree, right? Yeah. That something is. That's what peer review is all about. Prove, disprove. We have to agree on what reality is.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to agree that the Earth is round. But if we found out tomorrow it was flat, it really wouldn't make much difference to my life.
Do you think that based on this conversation you'll maybe contemplate it a wee bit or have a look into it?
I probably wouldn't. But I'll tell you this, as a child of philosophy, I'll probably think about a lot of other things because of this conversation.
Excellent.
So even though you've raised a conversation about that particular subject, I'll probably go away and think about indirect things, not particularly the water thing or the flat earth thing, but there's probably a lot of things that I'll think about that as a result of this conversation.
Excellent.
Which is why I think philosophy is a good way to go.
One quick other thing, do you believe they went to the moon in the 60s?
Do I believe it? I'm in a position where I want to come up with a different answer.
Yeah.
Because you've created the reality of this conversation. Yeah. You've created an apparatus for this conversation. So I'm trying to answer within that apparatus. Yeah. But I would say, yes, I believe it. But if you told me tomorrow it was a hoax, and there was proof, I would believe that too.
So it's
and
great.
again, it wouldn't really make much difference to
Well,
my life.
I love your honesty, man, and that's what I was looking for. I really appreciate your honesty, and that's it. You know, some people it doesn't matter to them. You know, what does
Middle
matter
age
to
and
them.
philosophy has taught me to
Ease up.
just to look at things from different perspectives. That's my boss.
I thought you were working today.
I was working, but I'm just trying to get some advertising for the 3 Villages PitStop Cafe.
Free advertising.
For his 25,000 YouTube viewers. It's
Listen,
in
buddy.
Arica.
Well, I really appreciate the conversation.
bother.
Much respect
See you
for your
later.
honesty. Thank you, bud.
Cheers.
So, anybody who's out, the bikers, I'm sure many in Scotland will know it. 3 Villages PitStop, and we're in Arica. So,